As a finger spinner, your variations are slightly different. They're going to come from angle of release to try and get the ball to spin a little bit bigger. You go a little bit lower with your release, you might get the ball just to skid on, something that Swan can do fantastically well. Just releases the ball a little bit lower, especially to the left-handers, getting that LBW, that ball just not quite spinning. Some will call it natural variation, that you'll have heard quite some time, but I'm pretty sure there'll be times when he looks to lower his arm ever so slightly and get that ball to skid on. In theory, as an off spinner, you've got two balls, but there are big variations in that off spinner, so you can release the ball over the top and you're going to get more of a top spinning off break. Go at 45 degrees, you're going to get your perfect off break like we talked about for the leg spinner. And if you go from 90 degrees, that depends on the pitch. If that's a quick pitch like the one we're bowling on now, even though that's rotating, that will probably skid on. On a slower pitch, a sticky dog, a league pitch, that ball will spin a long way, so it will grip in the surface. You've only got one way of getting the batsman out there, and that's on the inside of the bat. If we're looking to get the ball to pitch just outside our stump, we can beat the batsman on both sides. The grip, the way my hands are, will stay the same, but I'll probably just have my finger running down the seam there now. Almost like an outswing bowler, but the rotation's key, because that's going to get that ball just to swing and drift away in the air ever so slightly. Probably trying to release the ball a little bit higher and really working on rotating my body to try and get that ball to drift. I'm just going to hold this up, as I said, a little bit different. I'm going to, instead of having my fingers over the seam, I'm going to have my spinning finger there. It's like the leg spinner's wrong, and if I go too straight with this to try and get the LBW, it becomes quite predictable, quite easy to pick up. We don't want to be changing our line too much with our variation, because the better batsman will pick it up very easily. Not many of the guys over in England bowl this. It's a ball that's bowled a lot more on the subcontinent, and it's a big challenge to bowl this ball. I think that the guys on the subcontinent are probably practicing this from a younger age, whereas maybe the action required to do it might be coached out of a young cricketer in this country. Murray's bowled, taken 800 test wickets, and I've got no complaints with the way he did it. I loved watching him bowl. He's an artist as far as I'm concerned. Saeed Ajmal, fantastic. I love watching him bowl. Some might say he's bending the rules a little bit, but if everyone could do it, and if it was easy, we'd all be doing it. Instead of going over the top of these three fingers here for my off spinner, my wrist's now going to come from the side, and it's going to come over. Well, it's going to come over the top of my fingers now, like that. More like a top spinner for the leg spinner. One thing that I have heard Saeed Ajmal talking about is, not on purpose, a way of picking him is when he releases the ball, to bowl it, his thumb actually has to come up off the ball to get his wrist to come over the top.
That's the clue for the batsman.
If you see the thumb, in my opinion, there's a good chance that could be the douche for a top spinner. They'll bowl their off spinner and their douche with a scramble seam, because it's making it harder to pick. I believe it is a lot easier to bowl from a more open position. If you're side on, it's very hard to get this wrist to come around. And it is a ball from the wrist, not just the fingers.